I'm Trevor Spence, project manager, and for what I'm talking about here, I'm digital construction manager for BAM Rail Scotland and East. And basically, I've been chatting to Roger. I'm looking at bringing a lot of digital stuff into BAM Rail operations in Scotland. And one of the things I'm looking at is Sensat. We as in BAM have a 40-50 million pound tender that's currently out and about. We're fine tuning it right now, working with our Network Rail colleagues. And basically, what I want to do is try and present to them what the benefits Sensat can bring for a job of for the East Kilbride project. They haven't used Sensat before, but something like this product has the potential to bring a lot of benefits to the collective buying into it. So again, lessons from this could potentially help Network Rail Scotland with these two massive jobs that they're going to be kicking off at some point in the near future. So as I mentioned earlier, Roger kindly shared his experiences from Siemens from a job in the East. And I was just looking to see and get your thoughts and experiences in terms of what you thought with Sensat was, what the benefits were for yourselves, any good lessons, that sort of stuff, anything that could help the Network Rail Scotland team up here understand the usefulness of Sensat.
But we're using it for quite a lot of 11 kV renewals, a good 18-19 mile stretch between Euston and Watford, and we're also using it for 650 volt renewals for the same sort of patch. So it's quite a large patch of railway we're using it for.
I would say we probably don't really scratch the surface of what Sensat's capable of. This is a drone survey that was done by Tom Stewart about a year ago. So March 22. So as Mark said, it's the full 17-mile route from London Euston all the way up to Watford Junction. So what this has enabled us to do, we've plotted all the historic drawings, which were from the 60s, and we split up into something like 20-25 separate drawings for the whole route, then plotted that for the existing route, and then it's basically just design development. That's been our best use of it. So we're currently doing a scheme with we call it high output 11 kV renewals, and it's to dodge long assurance processes, Form A's and Form B's, looking towards the Form G's and Form H's. Yep. So when we were first developing the design, it wasn't a case of, let's go for a Form A, talk through it. It was, here's it on Sensat, and then any issues, any problems at that stage, that's when we came up with it. So that was it's more of a progressive design review meeting rather than an IDC, IDR. So I've lost my cursor again. Sorry, I'm on my TV and it's massive. So best bits we did, because we can also plot. You can plot coordinates. So we were looking at the Acton Lane UTX OTX scheme. So we've got to get 12 cables across the West Coast main line and across these two lines and across these three lines all in one go. Well, not necessarily all in one go. Looking at UTX OTX options, standard cut and cover, and then you go out there, and then I can show Network Rail immediately how many welds there are, how many track joints there are, how many issues there are, basically. So rather than having to, we can just go out with a GPS, do a quick survey. So as you can see, we've got lots of closure rails in the area, and this kind of pushed us towards the OTX option because the standard, you have to be a certain amount from points, you have to be a certain amount of distance away from welds, and as you can see, that's a very busy area for joints and everything. So that was very useful.
So was that using existing drawings, and you've used that and put that into the Sensat, or was that based on Google Maps, or was that a site visit and you picked all this up?
That was a site visit, but rather than having to engage our design house for them to go out and do their surveys, I can go out quickly with a GPS on one night. There was no contractual issues because I'm on the framework. I go out with a GPS and I plot it, and then everyone knows what we're talking about without having to go to Form A or anything.
And all the information is there in one place. It saves sending other people out all the time and everything. I guess that's one of the benefits.
Yeah. So when I spoke to the designers who were developing it, Ali Ataya here, he's the designer. All I did was invite him to go on Sensat, sent him an invite. He joined, and he could see he could then look exactly what I'd drawn up as well, which was really brilliant. The yellow line at the top is the existing route. We have this was kind of a success story where we, just through an afternoon spent on Sensat, we came to a decision where we could potentially completely remove this OTX, which was something that was in the CRT, that it was something that we required. We then went through Sensat and we decided that it wasn't necessarily required. It's still an option, but it's yeah, it was just something that's more of a case study than anything else. Also used it for safe work planning, for safe system of works, maintaining 2 meters, maintaining 3 meters, site warden stuff and all that good stuff, because we can measure on it. Taken rudimentary levels from it, but that's obviously the reliability of your levels is governed by the accuracy of your survey. These, as you can see, it's heavily vegetated. So when you're taking spot levels, you're basically taking the spot level from the top of the tree, which is just a de-veg problem. It's not a shortcoming of the software at all.
No, if I can just intervene, Dave. Yeah, where you're on about the Acton Lane, and people can look at it. The one thing I've found, Trevor, with my client, the asset owners, a picture paints 1,000 words. So where we've shown them the issues and solutions, this has been absolutely brilliant, and this will be music to Roger's ears. The actual principal route engineers, who are my clients, want to log in a bit of training on this as well, because I think they want to keep this record after the projects are complete. So that's something I'll pick up with you, Roger. But yeah, that's the key thing, is, like as Dave said, just show something like that, shows everything, and people can see it straight away, and it gives a better joint understanding, which has made my life easier. Firstly, understanding what Dave's telling me, but me to actually pass on the information to my clients as well.
I think if you put it into context of a project-wise and a BIM level 2 and all that clash prevention, that's great if you're a designer, but this is a bit more real world. It does the same job, but you can actually talk about it and look at it, and go on site and think, yeah, that's where that is.
Yeah,
and you don't have to be a CAD expert to do it.
Yeah, which is good, because not many folk have access to all the CAD side of stuff, and that's one thing I quite liked, was you can actually upload all we use iTwins up here, so I'll be dumping all the iTwins models and all the rest of it into one place, so anybody can see what's going on.
David, I think the point is so from my point of view as a CM, I cover probably about 6 projects in this area, and it gives me the opportunity to compare my projects against each other. So we mentioned the 650, the 11 kV high output. It just has a place where we do progressive assurance. So as part of the EMP framework, renewals framework, it's continual conversations. But just having it on Sensat is a tool where I can say, oh well, the 650 is going there, and we can just look. And as Dave pulled up there, which is now taken off helpfully, even though he's working on the 11 kV project, he can see what the 650 renewal guys are doing, because they've listed it on Sensat. So it's a talking point that we potentially have clashes. It's a tool, and it has its benefits. It has its weaknesses, but it adds to your arsenal of things you can make sure you're not going to miss something.
And then I'd say the other key thing is, as a simple project manager, me staring at a load of drawings and an IDC, doesn't give you the appreciation what the actual job's going to be finished like in the end. Dave, you can go on to one of them, can't you, and get photos and hazards and all that, and the information that people have put in. So it's an ever-building information. So information source. So
you could almost flood it with like the hazard directory and all the rest of it up front, so you can see it graphically.
Yeah, if you wanted to, yeah. And some of the issues that Amey Rail have raised, that our asset owners and maintenance weren't aware of, it's been key on this.
Mark, in terms of the benefits that you think you've had in this, what sort of benefits? It might not be, well, there'll probably be financial, I'm guessing, in there, but is there any other benefits that you're happy to talk about?
Well, the key one is, and I think we have this up and down the railway all over the country, is the asset owners don't really know what they've got out there at the moment. And this has been an interesting tool that I've presented to that's why they want access now, that it gives them a bit more appreciation what's out there. So very limited, and because they only get the information fed back from their local maintenance teams. But that I think that's the biggest benefit. Is it's been a historical thing with the railway for years, that the asset owners have never really fully understood what's out there. So this has actually given a lot of appreciation. So that's why it's been handy for me to show them what was there first and what we're designing, how it's going to fit in, and what will be installed. So So I think that's the biggest benefit, is getting the asset owners on side. So that's probably a piece of something for your Network Rail team.
Do you think commercially it has saved money on the project you're on? You don't need to give me.
Can I just? I'll come in with that. So,
Okay, yeah.
One of the things that we've done, it's a tool that's enabled us to get more efficient at what we do.
Yep.
So we spent a lot of years designing 11 kV cable route, and it was quite a slow process. By having this and the collaborative approach that's associated with this and other tools, I'm not going to say it's just this. We've now increased our output to deliver in probably 6 months what previously had taken us 2 years.
Okay.
So, because it's
So
been brilliant.
if you win get into CP7, you'll be looking to use Sensat as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've not saying it's set in stone, but we basically designed the cable route. We have a rough idea of where it's going from 8 mile to 16 mile, without ever going boots on ballast. So it's been, unfortunately that that's another thing, but that's what's been brilliant for. We'll go out and verify where it is. We know where the pinch points are. We can find the difficult areas without ever having to go and walk it. The support from Sensat's been really great as well. They've been coming to me for suggestions for improvements, which I have fed back. I've been talking to I can't remember his name, but kind of regular check-ins with Sensat, and it's whatever they can do to help us. So it's been the development's been really good. The support on the development's been fantastic. So it's I feel quite passionate about it. I want to keep it. The best thing I think I would say about Sensat is the fact that it's all Google Chrome or Internet Explorer based. It's a soft client. It's not a specific program. So as I say, when I need people to collaborate on it, it's I think we've got up to 1,000 invites. So I just sent so half of our team are on here.
Excellent. No, I think I've got enough now. Thank you, Ben, David, Mark, Mark, and Ivy, for your time, and Roger for facilitating this. It's been very useful. Thank you all.